The day I announced my pregnancy was supposed to be the happiest of my life, but my sister-in-law turned it into a nightmare that ended with her in handcuffs and her marriage in ashes. My name's Lena Martinez, 29, and I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with my husband Diego, 32. We've been married 3 years, together for 6, and we're that couple who still holds hands at the grocery store. Diego's a civil engineer, steady and kind, with a laugh that fills a room. I'm a high school art teacher, the dreamer who paints murals on weekends. We'd been trying for a baby for over a year, and when I finally saw those 2 pink lines, I cried so hard Diego thought something was wrong. Diego's family is tight-knit, mostly. His parents, Rosa and Javier, treat me like their own daughter. His younger brother, Mateo, 27, is a goofball who brings his dog to every family gathering. Then there's Mateo's wife, Vanessa, 28, my sister-in-law. Vanessa's the kind of person who walks into a room and demands attention, sharp cheekbones, sharper tongue. She's a real estate agent, always posting about her hustle on Instagram. At first, I thought her confidence was inspiring, but over time, I noticed the digs, a backhanded compliment about my cute little job, or a smirk when I mentioned our budget-friendly baby moon plans. Diego said she was just competitive, but it felt personal. Vanessa and Mateo live in Santa Fe, an hour away, so we don't see them daily, but family events are sacred in Diego's world. When we planned Diego's 32nd birthday party at our house, a backyard barbecue with string lights, his favorite green chile enchiladas, and a playlist of 90s hip-hop, I knew Vanessa would be there, probably in some designer outfit, steering the conversation. We invited 30 people, including Diego's coworkers, our friends, and family. The party was also when we planned to announce the pregnancy. Only my best friend Clara and Diego's parents knew. I imagined Vanessa's face when we shared the news. Maybe she'd finally soften. Looking back, I missed the signs. Vanessa had been texting Diego more than usual, asking about the party, offering to help. I thought she was being nice. Diego, bless him, is oblivious to drama. He'd say, "Vanessa's just excited, babe." But there was this one moment, a week before, when I overheard her on speakerphone at Rose's house saying, "Lena's got that glow, huh? Wonder what's up." Her tone wasn't curious. It was calculating. I brushed it off. I was too busy, painting a tiny cactus mural in the nursery. The party was perfect at first. The September air was crisp, the Sandia Mountains glowing pink in the sunset. Guests mingled, kids chased each other, and Diego's coworker, Sam, DJ'd from his laptop. I wore a flowy yellow dress that hid my barely there bump. Vanessa showed up late, in a red jumpsuit that screamed, "Look at me," with Mateo trailing behind, carrying her purse like a defeated squire. She hugged me too tight, her perfume overwhelming, and whispered, "You're radiant, Lena. Big news coming?" I laughed nervously, thinking she was fishing. We planned the announcement for after dinner, when everyone was relaxed. Diego and I would stand on the patio, clink glasses, and share our joy. But as we ate, I noticed Vanessa whispering to a few guests, Diego's cousin, a friend from college, then glancing at me. Her smile was too wide, like a predator baring teeth. Mateo looked uncomfortable, sipping his beer and avoiding her. I asked Clara, "Is Vanessa acting weird?" Clara, ever blunt, said, "She's always weird. Ignore her." Then it happened. Diego was about to grab the mic when Vanessa stood up, glass in hand, and said, "Hold on, everyone. Before Diego says anything, I've got a surprise." The crowd quieted. My stomach dropped. Diego looked confused but nodded for her to go on. Vanessa's eyes locked on me, and she said, "Lena, this is for you. I know you've been keeping a secret, so let's clear the air." She pulled out her phone, tapped it, and a video started playing on the Bluetooth speaker. It was grainy, but I recognized the setting instantly. Our backyard, weeks ago, during a family dinner. The camera zoomed in on me, talking to Clara. My voice, clear as day, said, "I'm scared, Clara. What if Diego's not ready? What if it's not his? The clip cut off. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Diego's face went blank. My heart stopped. I hadn't said that. Not exactly. I'd said, what if Diego's not ready? What if I'm not enough? About parenting. Vanessa had edited the clip, twisted it to make me sound like a cheater. People stared. Rosa clutched Javier's arm. Clara yelled, "What the hell, Vanessa?" But Vanessa wasn't done. She said, "Lena, we all deserve the truth. Who's the real father?" Diego turned to me, his eyes searching. I stammered, "That's not what I said." But the damage was done. Vanessa's smirk grew. Then Mateo stood, face red, and shouted, "Vanessa, stop it! You faked that video!" The crowd froze. Vanessa's confidence cracked. "What are you talking about?" she snapped. Mateo, shaking, said, "I saw you edit it on your laptop. You paid some guy to splice it. You wanted to ruin her." The truth hit like a freight train. Vanessa had planned this to humiliate me, to make me look like a liar in front of everyone. But Mateo's outburst flipped the script. Guests started murmuring. Diego grabbed the phone from Vanessa, replaying the clip, his engineer brain analyzing it. "This is manipulated," he said, voice low. "You hear the cut?" Vanessa tried to laugh it off, but the crowd wasn't buying it. Clara, furious, called her out. "You're sick, Vanessa. Why would you do this?" Then Rosa, trembling, stood and said, "Vanessa, you've gone too far." The tension was suffocating. Vanessa's plan was unraveling, and she knew it. I was shaking, torn between rage and heartbreak. Everyone was staring, waiting for me to react. Diego reached for my hand, but I pulled away, not because I was mad at him, but because I needed to face this myself. I stepped forward, voice cracking, and said, "Vanessa, you took my words, my life, and twisted them to hurt me. Why? What did I ever do to you?" She opened her mouth, but I didn't let her speak. "No, you don't get to talk. You tried to break my family, my marriage, on the night we were going to share our baby with the world." I turned to the crowd, tears streaming. "That video's fake. I've never cheated. I love Diego. And yes, we're having a baby." The announcement wasn't how I'd dreamed, but it was out. People clapped, some hesitantly, others with relief. Diego pulled me close, whispering, "I believe you, Lena. I'm so sorry." But I wasn't done. I looked at Mateo, who was near tears, and said, "Mateo, thank you for telling the truth." He nodded, unable to meet Vanessa's glare. I could have stopped there, but something in me snapped. I grabbed Vanessa's phone from Diego and handed it to Sam, the DJ, who's also a tech nerd. "Sam, can you check this?" I asked. Sam, eager to help, connected the phone to his laptop. Within minutes, he found the original video file and the editing software Vanessa used. The unedited clip played, my real words, about my fears of motherhood, not infidelity. The crowd erupted in boos directed at Vanessa. I turned to her, my voice steady now. "You're not just cruel, Vanessa. You're desperate, and you've lost." I didn't know what would happen next, but I felt stronger than I ever had. Diego backed me up, telling Vanessa, "You need to leave. Now." She tried to argue, but Javier stepped in, his voice like steel. "Go, Vanessa. You're not welcome here." As she stormed out, Mateo stayed behind, apologizing profusely. I hugged him, knowing he was as much a victim as I was. But the night wasn't over. Clara, ever my protector, had already called the police, suspecting Vanessa's actions might be illegal. When officers arrived, they questioned everyone. Sam showed them the phone, and they found evidence of Vanessa hiring a shady editor online. Turns out, she'd paid him through a traceable app. The cops said it could be considered defamation or cyber harassment, especially since she'd planned to post the video online after the party. They arrested Vanessa in our driveway, her red jumpsuit clashing with the flashing lights. She screamed about misunderstandings, but no one listened. I stood there, Diego's arm around me, feeling a mix of vindication and exhaustion. My pregnancy announcement was ruined, but I'd fought back. I wasn't the naive Lena who ignored red flags anymore. Vanessa's arrest was the talk of Albuquerque for weeks. Mateo filed for divorce the next day, unable to forgive her cruelty. He moved back in with Rosa and Javier, who were devastated, but supported him. Rosa apologized to me endlessly, blaming herself for not seeing Vanessa's true colors. I told her it wasn't her fault. Vanessa had fooled us all. Diego was a wreck, torn between guilt for not noticing Vanessa's scheming and anger at her betrayal. He kept saying, "I should have protected you, Lena." We went to couples therapy to process it, which helped. He doubled down on being my rock, building the nursery crib himself and cooking my favorite pozole when cravings hit. Our bond grew stronger, but the party left scars. He stopped talking to Mateo for a while, needing space from the family drama. The community reaction was mixed. Some of Diego's co-workers distanced themselves, unsure who to believe, but most rallied around us. Clara organized a do-over announcement at her house, a small gathering with balloons and a baby Martinez cake. It wasn't the same, but it healed something in me. Vanessa's social circle, though, turned on her. Her Instagram went silent after clients dropped her, citing her unprofessional behavior. A local news blog even picked up the story, calling it the backyard betrayal. Vanessa faced charges for cyber harassment and defamation. She pleaded guilty to lesser charges, avoiding jail time but getting probation and a hefty fine. Mateo's divorce proceedings revealed more. Vanessa had been cheating on him for months, which explained her projection onto me. She'd been spiraling, jealous of our happiness, our baby, our stability. Mateo told me later that she'd always resented my perfect life, though I laughed at that. My life's far from perfect. My students at school heard rumors and asked nosy questions, but I kept it vague, saying, "Family drama happens. Art helps." I painted a mural of a phoenix in the nursery, a reminder of rising from ashes. Diego's family rebuilt slowly. Mateo started therapy, and we invited him to dinner often, wanting him to know he wasn't defined by Vanessa's actions. The hardest part was forgiving myself for not seeing it sooner. I'd trusted Vanessa, ignored her barbs, and nearly lost everything. But I also learned I'm tougher than I thought. Diego and I grew closer, planning for our daughter. We found out it's a girl, with cautious hope. It's been 6 months, and I'm 7 months pregnant now, waddling around with a belly that makes Diego laugh every time I try to tie my shoes. Vanessa's out of our lives, living in Denver last I heard, working some low-key job. Her probation keeps her offline, which is a relief. Mateo's healing, dating someone new, a quiet librarian who brings her own dog to family dinners. Rosa and Javier are thrilled about the baby, already knitting tiny blankets. Diego and I are stronger, but I'm different now. I don't brush off gut feelings anymore. I check in with myself, with him, with Clara, who's basically my sister. Therapy's helped me process the betrayal, the public humiliation. I still dream about that party sometimes, Vanessa's smirk haunting me. But I wake up to Diego's snores and the baby kicking, and I'm okay. The nursery's done, cactus mural and all. We named our daughter to be Sophia, after my grandma, who always said, "Life throws dirt, but you plant flowers." I'm trying to live that. I paint more, teach my students to channel pain into color, and lean on Diego when the world feels heavy. The party taught me that joy can be stolen, but it can also be reclaimed. I don't hate Vanessa anymore. I pity her. She wanted to break me, but she broke herself. Her plan backfired because truth has a way of surfacing, like oil in water. I'm not naive now, but I'm not bitter either. I'm Lena, wife, soon-to-be mom, artist, survivor. And when Sophia's born, I'll tell her stories of love, not betrayal, because that's the life I'm building, one brushstroke at a time.